The impacts of climate change affect different people in different ways. How people are affected depends on where they live and how they sustain their livelihoods. Importantly, it also depends on who they are. People's identities shape how they experience climate change and their capacities to adapt to its impacts. Structures of inequity, including gender inequality, racism, ableism, and ageism, make some people more vulnerable. They face discrimination that constrains their opportunities for adaptation and excludes them from participating in decisions that affect their lives. Often, the people who are most vulnerable to climate change are those who experience intersecting forms of discrimination. By thinking of groups such as women as homogeneous, we fail to fully understand how a range of inequities may intersect and impact their lives. The concept of intersectionality, first introduced by Black feminist Kimberly Crenshaw, tries to address this complexity. This approach considers how inequities are indivisible and always shaping one another, and how these intersecting structures influence people's opportunities and the barriers they may face. So, how does this relate to climate change adaptation? According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, adaptation is more effective and sustainable if it is grounded in equity and justice. The impacts of climate change are context-specific, demanding locally led action and investments that build local adaptive capacities. Participatory approaches are therefore essential to ensure people have a say in decisions about managing climate risks in their communities and in policy. Adaptation works best when it's based on the best available scientific evidence, along with indigenous and traditional knowledge. These are established good practices for adaptation. But what does it look like to truly center the most vulnerable people? Intersectional approaches confront harmful power structures and tackle systemic barriers, aiming to benefit those who are most vulnerable in any given context. To do this, we need to analyze climate risks and vulnerabilities with an intersectional lens. We need to intentionally and meaningfully engage underrepresented groups and people with lived experience of intersecting inequities in adaptation planning and policy-making processes. We need adaptation actions that are targeted and inclusive. And we need to track who is benefiting from adaptation and who may be left behind. This is challenging. It takes intention, time, and skills. But we have a foundation to build on, and with the right people and processes, just and effective adaptation is within reach.